How has Selena changed your life?
What do you mean? Look at me. She's the best thing that's ever happened in my life.
When I wake up.
No
I saw
idea
it
what
on
she's
your
talking
results.
about, ever. Ever.
Selena Gomez is planning the biggest day of her life. But just as she's finally stepping into a new chapter, the past refuses to stay quiet. While she's envisioning vows and velvet florals, her ex, Justin Bieber, is flooding Instagram with cryptic quotes and emotional outbursts timed a little too perfectly to be ignored. Fans are convinced the posts aren't random. They think they're about her. And just when things seem to settle, Hailey Bieber gets pulled back into the spotlight whether she wants to or not. Selena publicly supports her. Justin spirals. The timeline doesn't lie, but that's just the surface. Because the man Selena's marrying, Benny Blanco, has a history of his own. A history that includes Justin. They weren't just acquaintances. They were in the studio together, sharing music, stories, maybe even secrets. So now, this isn't just a love story. It's a collision of past and present. Of private pain and public performance. Is this wedding a fresh start for Selena, or a beautifully decorated trap built on a foundation that still whispers his name? At first glance, Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco seem like everything fans have been waiting for. There's a softness to them, a quiet kind of love that doesn't demand attention but earns it anyway. Unlike the high-drama relationships that have defined Selena's past, this one moves gently. There are no messy headlines, no cryptic subtweets, no teary-eyed paparazzi moments. Just two people who appear deeply committed to creating something stable and sacred. Benny speaks about Selena in interviews like a man completely disarmed. He doesn't just call her beautiful. He calls her the best thing that's ever happened to him. And when he says it, it doesn't feel rehearsed. It doesn't feel like he's trying to convince the world. It feels like he's reminding himself just how lucky he is. Their rhythm together is calm, almost unshakable. When Selena feels overwhelmed, she asks for space. And Benny gives it. No guilt trips, no emotional manipulation. When she's ready, she texts him, "Come back, I miss you." And he does. No questions asked. It's a dynamic that feels refreshingly mature, maybe even healing. Benny once said that he doesn't need Selena to be in the same room to feel connected. Just knowing she's nearby, just knowing he can call out, "I love you" from the next room and hear her laugh from down the hall, that's enough for him. It's the kind of steady affection that doesn't make headlines because it isn't explosive, but it's real. And for someone like Selena who's survived the emotional whiplash of past love, that kind of security might just be everything. This relationship doesn't look like the ones before. It doesn't burn hot and bright and then crash. It simmers. It listens, it stays. So when Benny proposed, fans expected something intimate, something deeply personal like the love they've come to associate with this new chapter in Selena's life, and at first glance, it looked just like that. A quiet outdoor setup, a picnic blanket, just the two of them and a bag of takeout. But the closer you look, the stranger it seems. The camera angle was perfect, the lighting suspiciously flawless, and the food? Taco Bell, neatly placed, branded, centered. It didn't feel like a spontaneous moment of love, it felt like a photo shoot. A soft launch maybe, or worse, an ad. Fans online started joking that it looked more like a commercial for a fast food chain than a life-changing proposal. And just like that, the fantasy cracked out at a glance. It was supposed to be romantic. Private, maybe even poetic. But that perfectly styled proposal raised more than eyebrows. It raised questions. Why did something as personal as an engagement feel so performative? And once that door opened, fans started paying closer attention not just to the proposal, but to Benny himself. Because while he's been pouring his heart out in interviews, praising Selena and painting himself as the anti-Justin, the frequency of his praise has started to feel calculated. Again and again, he talks about how much he loves her, how deeply committed he is, how different he is from those other guys. Admirable, sure. But at some point, it starts to sound less like authenticity and more like branding. There's a strange irony to it. The same man who warns women not to settle for shallow guys with too much ego and hair gel, he's also out here casually mentioning how he barely showers and how he lets his juices come forth. Yes, those are his actual words. And suddenly, the carefully curated image of Benny Blanco, the humble, grounded boyfriend of the year, starts to feel a little unstable. Is he really the antidote to Selena's chaotic past, or just another performance dressed in flannel and emotional vulnerability? Because saying the right things isn't the same as being the right person. And the more he tries to prove how good he is, the more people start to wonder who's he trying to convince, Yus or himself. Even so, people wanted to root for them. After everything Selena had endured, public heartbreaks, health battles, toxic cycles, she deserves something solid, something sweet, something safe. And maybe Benny is that. Maybe this is real. But just when the world started to believe in the fairy tale, just when the engagement buzz began to settle, someone else added fuel to the fire. Someone who's never really stayed out of the picture. Someone who always shows up right on cue, Justin Bieber. Just when the world had begun to adjust to Selena's new chapter, when her engagement became the focus, not her past, Justin Bieber re-entered the narrative, not with words, not with statements, but with something far more calculated. Cryptic Instagram quotes that felt like they were pulled straight from the journal of a man not quite over it. No names were mentioned, no photos were shared, but the tone? It screamed unresolved emotions. One post read, "Telling other humans they deserve something is like raising someone else's kids. Who are you to decide what someone should or shouldn't have? God decides what we deserve." It was philosophical. It was vague. And it was timed so precisely timed that fans couldn't help but notice it landed just hours after Selena posted a rare and surprisingly kind message to Hailey Bieber. That post alone caused shockwaves. Selena, after years of rumored tension, took a quiet moment to support Hailey. "You matter. Your heart matters. Your voice matters," she wrote. It was unexpected, gentle, and it felt like a gesture of peace. But Justin? He didn't seem to take it that way. Because what followed was a string of Instagram stories that read more like sermons than status updates. Rants about loyalty, posts about divine justice, emotional reflections laced with spiritual urgency. To some, it looked like Justin was spiraling left, and in real time. And the fact that it happened right after Selena extended an olive branch to his wife? That wasn't lost on anyone. It wasn't the first time he'd done this either. Fans have long suspected that Justin uses Instagram not to communicate with the world, but to communicate with her, to vent, to grieve, to reach without asking to be reached back. And as the stories began stacking, each one more emotionally fraught than the last, it started to feel like he wasn't just posting. He was reacting, not to headlines, but to Selena, to her glow up, to her peace, to the way she seemed to be moving on with grace, with love, and most dangerously of all, without him. And then there's Hailey, the one person in this triangle who hasn't said a word, and somehow that silence has become the loudest thing of all. While Selena is moving forward and Justin is spiraling sideways, Hailey is caught in the middle of something she never directly invited but can't escape. It started innocently enough. Hailey landed a major Vogue cover. Her skincare brand Rhode got picked up by Sephora. This should have been her moment, her clean, quiet win. But instead of being celebrated on her own terms, the spotlight curved sharply. Because when Justin posted about her achievement, fans didn't hear support. They heard sarcasm. The tone felt off. The caption lacked warmth, and the timing once again raised eyebrows. Was this pride or performative? And that's when Selena stepped in. In a move no one saw coming. Selena not only liked a post about Hailey's win, she followed it with a soft, emotional message. "You matter. Your voice matters. You are worth so much more." It wasn't passive-aggressive. It wasn't snide. It was kind. Unexpectedly kind. And in that moment, the internet exploded. Some saw it as an olive branch. Others saw it as calculated compassion. But everyone agreed on one thing: the message landed right in the middle of a war Hailey didn't ask for and couldn't control. Justin, however, didn't stay quiet for long. His post got weirder, more intense. That's when the God decides who deserves what rant hit Instagram. Not so subtle sermon that felt less like scripture and more like an emotional weapon. And once again, the pieces fell into place. Selena offers support. Hailey stays silent. Justin lashes out. The pattern by now was undeniable. Hailey, for her part, has kept her digital distance. No comments, no replies, no cryptic stories, but the silence doesn't feel peaceful, it feels tense. Fans have started dissecting her interviews, her red carpet photos, her body language. Some say she looks tired. Others say she's holding it together for the cameras. A few even call it a silent cry for help. Whether that's true or internet projection, one thing is clear: she's standing in a storm she didn't create, while the two people who built the drama seem to be moving it forward intentionally. Or not. And while the world watches Selena and Justin dance around each other in public shadows, Hailey is left standing between what was and what still might be. If there's one person who has always stood between Selena Gomez and the chaos of her past, it's Taylor Swift. Their friendship isn't surface level. It's not about Instagram likes or public brunches, it's battle-tested, protective, fierce, and when Taylor shows up, she doesn't do it for PR. She does it like a sister showing up to a war zone. Years ago, Taylor said in an interview, "I can forgive people who've hurt me, but I don't know if I could forgive someone who hurt her." She wasn't being poetic, she was talking about Justin. And that single line, delivered in Taylor's signature calm, carried the quiet rage of someone who has watched her best friend break over and over and isn't willing to let it happen. Again, Taylor has always had a front row seat to the chaos, the healing, the heartbreak that never made it into the tabloids. When Selena was at her lowest, Taylor flew in, no press. No announcements, just presence. The kind of presence that doesn't ask questions, it just holds space. Selena has called Taylor one of my best friends in the whole world, and someone who has shown up in ways I never expected. And when they were recently spotted grabbing dinner at Monkey Bar in New York, just the two of them, no Entourage fans could practically hear the whispered stories floating over the wine glasses. Because let's be honest, between Scooter Braun, Hailey Bieber, Benny Blanco, and the ghost of Justin Bieber still haunting Instagram, that dinner table was probably more therapy session than celebrity hangout. Fans joke that Taylor is the composed one at the table, sipping slowly, while Selena arrives with a fresh batch of emotional chaos, new stories, new wounds, new messes. But the truth is, their bond isn't about balance, it's about armor. Taylor shields Selena from the industry's ugliest corners. And Selena brings Taylor back to the heart of it all: emotion, vulnerability, rawness. So as the wedding nears and the whispers grow louder, Taylor is once again standing guard. She can't stop the past from knocking, but she's doing everything she can to make sure Selena doesn't open the door. Still, even Taylor Swift, arguably one of the most powerful women in pop, can't protect Selena from what's already inside the house. Because while Selena is building a future with Benny, Justin Bieber is still watching, and he's not watching passively. He's timing his moves, he's reacting. He's lurking. And the question no one wants to ask out loud: what happens if he's not done? By now, it's more than coincidence. Every time Selena takes a step forward, Justin Bieber leaves breadcrumbs. Cryptic quotes, spiritual rants, quiet jabs wrapped in scripture. And while he never says her name, the timing speaks louder than words. A new photo of Selena drops, he posts a Bible verse. She supports Hailey publicly. He launches into a story about judgment, loyalty, and what people deserve. It's a rhythm so precise, so emotionally reactive, that fans have stopped asking if it's about her and started asking how long he's been watching. Theories are swirling. Some say he's still following fan accounts dedicated to her. Others believe he's using burner accounts to keep tabs from the shadows. Whether or not that's true, the pattern is undeniable. It's not about one post, it's the consistency. The way he shadows her milestones. Like he's trying to insert himself into a chapter he no longer belongs in. And while he's married, while he's building a life with someone else, there's a lingering sense that he hasn't emotionally disconnected from the version of himself that existed when Selena was still his daughter, and maybe that's the part that stings. Not just for fans, but for Justin himself. Because the life Selena is now building with Benny, it looks like everything Justin once claimed he wanted: stability, softness, a partner who doesn't play games. And maybe in the back of his mind, he can't help but wonder, why couldn't I build that with her? Maybe he sees in Benny the man he tried to be, or the man he pretended to be. And watching Benny live out a version of that dream with the same woman might be more than he can quietly handle. There's something deeply human about it. We don't always let go when we say we have. Sometimes we haunt what we've lost, not out of love but out of regret. And Justin, intentionally or not, keeps showing up at the edges of Selena's story, not through interviews or songs. Through silence, through timing, through carefully placed words meant to be seen but never explained. And in that silence, there's a kind of emotional surveillance that doesn't need to be confirmed to be felt. Selena, meanwhile, says nothing. She doesn't engage. She doesn't clap back. She just keeps moving forward. But the question still lingers, one that grows louder the closer she gets to her wedding day. Can she ever truly move on if he's still watching from the shadows? Selena Gomez is no longer asking for peace, she's claiming it. And the future she's building with Benny Blanco doesn't need to be flashy to be revolutionary. It's not about winning over fans or proving anything to the internet. It's about choosing deliberately what she wants her life to feel like. Love, stability, freedom, and finally, silence. The kind of silence that doesn't come from avoidance, but from healing. And while the world may still be obsessed with the chaos of her past, Selena isn't performing strength anymore. She's becoming it. She's making music with someone who understands her rhythm. She's designing a wedding that reflects her, not her brand. And for once, she's not chasing headlines or trying to out-narrate the speculation. She's stepping away from the drama, not because it disappeared, but because it no longer defines her. But that doesn't mean it's gone. Not entirely, because in Hollywood, the past doesn't die. It just changes shape. It hides in Instagram stories and passive-aggressive captions, in the split-second glances captured by paparazzi. And Selena knows that. She knows that Justin is still watching. That Hailey's silence still speaks. That fans are still connecting dots that no one admits were ever there. But maybe that's what makes her choice even more powerful. She's not pretending the past didn't happen, she's choosing not to carry it anymore. And maybe that's what scares people the most. Because when a woman finally stops apologizing for surviving, when she stops explaining her piece and starts protecting it, the people who used to control her narrative suddenly have nothing left to hold on to. Selena isn't waiting for closure. She's not asking for permission. She's walking forward, wedding dress in one hand, purpose in the other, into a life that finally belongs to her. And as she steps into that future, there's only one question that really matters now. Can the past let go of her? Even if she's already let go of it?